I just want to make sure we're on the same page, though. We have to make sure that the activities we're doing during the day are the activities that we're called to do and that we're uniquely gifted at. And I'll just give you an example. I worked construction for that summer I was telling you about to start the basically earn up enough cash. I needed about 20 grand to start the company.
Yeah.
And we have these things where you take pins and wedges, and what you do is you build these, you take these forms, so it's like you have one form here and one form here, and you build basements all over. These are like big holes in the ground, and you're making forms, and you pour concrete in between the forms.
Yeah, you make a wall, the forms for the walls, right.
My whole job consisted of taking a pin, taking a wedge, ding, ding, knock it into place, hold these two together. Pick up another one, and I could pick up the forms. I was in great shape, and I could pick up the forms, and I could hammer this. I was terrible, though. I wasn't really good. So whenever I'm like, I don't have common sense when it comes to manual stuff. So I'm like cutting rebar, and you're supposed to like stand or you cut rebar, and logic would dictate that when you cut, you don't want to spray everyone behind you. So I'm like, and I'm cutting, and there's sparks flying between my legs as I'm cutting rebar. Sparks are flying everywhere, and this guy, Tracy, throws a hammer at me. He kind of just hits me in the arm. I'm like, what? And he's like, dude, you're spraying us with what are you doing, you? And that was basically like every day on the construction crew, I had some epiphany of like, well, when on the site, I should not, I'm writing my own maxims, like when on the site, don't spray Tracy with sparks,
Right.
And it wasn't my highest and best use. And so at the house, my daughter can attest to this, but I tried to change the light bulb in the kitchen there last year, break it.
Last year, okay.
Yeah, I don't do that. I delegate that. I can't do it. Every time I try to do anything, I try to fix the toilet, it breaks. So it's just best for me. I got to go back to the office, work on my systems, I can do that. But some of you watching this here, you are in a job, you are in a business, you are in an occupation, you are in a relationship that is not your highest and best use.
Right.
And you've got to be asking yourself, is what you're doing worth doing?
Right, yeah. And as you do that, really think about it, challenge yourself. This is not a time to condemn yourself. You may be in a transition. Yeah, the transition's gone on for 25 years. Okay, well maybe it's time to transition out of that. Stop going through what you're going through. But just taking time and thinking about this and beginning to take little steps towards putting pressure on utilizing your highest and best use. That's what we're talking about doing.
Now I've seen this next point, Maxim 39. Meetings are to make clear the 3 W's. What, who, when. What, who, when. I want to see, real quick. I've seen business owners walk into a meeting, if they're walking in, let's just pretend this is my blackboard. They'll draw diagrams, they'll do all sorts of stuff, an hour and a half meeting, and nobody comes out of the meeting knowing what needs to be done, who needs to do it, and when it's going to be done.
Right.
Talk to me about how I can effectively make a meeting, because you're saying meetings are to make clear the 3 W's. How do I do it?
Yeah, there's different purposes of meeting. When you have a meeting just to inform, it's usually a very disengaged. If it's just information, I think it's better if you send that out and get people to read it. If they'll read it. But meetings here, you always want to make sure there's some kind of action plan. There's a clear action list. I was just talking to a young man that's the CEO, the assistant to the CEO of about a $75 million business that I'm helping. And he was working with certain people, and he's like pulling teeth to get them to cooperate. So we just had this meeting. Didn't you know you agreed to do this? It's like they're talking about a foreign language. So we talked about making sure that's very, very clear, make sure there's reflective listening back, make sure they come back to you. Who owns what? If you're not clear on who owns this what?
Who needs to do it?
Yeah, who owns it? I want to even stress the word who owns it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but I own it, but I gave it to him. Well, you own it, that means you own it. Owners own. That's what an owner does. And so it's who owns what to be done when.
Okay.
So if you don't have those 3 things clearly in mind, you've wasted your time in a meeting.